It's podcadzo.
Having an Arctic vibe.
Arctic vibe, man.
The best one.
Indeed. Welcome to podcadzo.
Welcome back.
Another week.
You don't need to.
It's synced up already. I just kept it rolling.
Oh, wow.
You know what?
Brave choice.
Does that make you feel better?
No, I was fine either way. I wanted to make sure that you were fine.
Oh, I'm fine.
You seem more than fine, to be honest.
I actually did get a little bit sleepy, so I am having the seltzer.
Having a little seltzer. Nice. I'm glad that you got to have both experiences. You got to try the twisty. You got to do the poppy.
Poppy.
What other kind of cans are there?
There are the old school cans that you open with a can opener.
Yeah.
There are the old school like drink cans where you needed a tool to push in the perforated opening.
Yeah.
I actually just saw a video about like what an innovative and impressive piece of engineering this little pop top is on cans that we've come to take for granted.
It seems like something that we should have thought of right away.
I know,
to be
but like
honest.
it's actually, I forget what the video said, but it's actually like kind of difficult to manufacture. Or it's easy now, but like back in the day.
It's impressive. I did a New Belgium tour like a year ago, and the machine that puts the tops on the cans is fucking sick.
Yeah,
like
I
it'll
love
do
those.
like 100 cans a minute, just around in a circle, and they're all just like.
I've
fucking
seen those at the New Belgium factory, or they
Yeah.
have like at breweries if you go and fill up a crowler. They have the
press
machine
it
that presses.
on.
I love that.
That is sick.
I want to do that.
You can get that for your house.
You can.
Yeah.
But I have no need for that.
I mean,
Maybe
you
I
could
should
start making your
I
own
could
beer.
start canning stuff.
You could brew some beer up, dude. Get
I
like
have
one of
a-
those home brew kits.
I have a home brew kit from 2020 that I still haven't opened.
Just bottle that shit up. There you go. You
There you
get
go.
all your satisfaction from that.
That could be our merch.
Podcadzo beer
Cadzo homebrew.
only has a little bit of sweat in it.
Not FDA approved or whatever beer needs to be.
The FDA actually said you should probably stay away
stay
from
away
it.
from this. FDA disapproved.
We've gotten many cease and desists.
It's not FDA approved, and that's not for lack of trying. We
Yeah.
have sent it to them.
The
They
cease
said
and
this is
desists-
unacceptable.
Yeah. The cease and desists are because we called the beer U2, and then we trademarked it U2 beer by Cadzo. Bono said,
Bono beer.
I need a cut of that.
I didn't go to that shit. We said, we're not making any money. You don't get anything.
Yeah. Greasy Irishman.
Yeah. That's actually what the IPA is called.
Yeah, the I stands for Irishman. Fuck.
U2 beer by Cadzo. Greasy Irishman IPA.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes horrible.
It's a triple IPA.
Yeah, it's 20% ABV because we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. Our shit sounds real good after you drink one, though.
Mm-hmm.
We're the best band in the world after one of those.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Actually, listening to music drunk is an interesting thing.
I don't really do it that much.
It sounds great. Like, oh, yeah, get a buzz and listen to some tunes. Because sometimes music just sounds way too crazy when you're drunk.
That's fair.
I kind of it gets me dizzy, some music. Some music, it's like, and when you're at a show and you're drunk, it's great. It's fun. But sometimes, like, I'll be at home and, Friday night, I'll have a couple brewskis, just chilling, taking it easy. I'll throw on a record. And, be like, this kind of bothers me right now. I don't like this music.
Maybe you're just not throwing on the right thing.
That's definitely the case. Like, Motley Crue sounds sick when you're drunk.
Yeah. Boat
But,
music
like-
sounds good when you're drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anything dudes on boats listen to.
Yeah, that's what you
True.
got to listen to. I think one time when I was kind of pretty high on mushrooms, I listened to the Sumac album Love in Shadow just like in my room by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the most spiritual experience that I've ever had.
That's
like
amazing.
I don't know why when I was tripping I was like I need to listen to Sumac right now, but I did and it was incredible. And nothing that I have done on any substance has ever topped that since. Like, I haven't really done mushrooms since then, to be honest. I have like once, but the musical experience that time was horrible. Like the music, kind of started freaking me out. And like, obviously listening to shit high is pretty much the same as listening to shit sober for me. It's just like I notice a lot more when I'm high.
Yeah.
I start to pay attention to the details a lot more.
On weed, it's just like across the board, 20% better for me.
100%. Yeah, like it is more enjoyable.
20% better, 100% of the time.
100% of the time. But yeah, I think the drunk thing, I've never experienced it too much because whenever I'm drunk, I'm not like super drunk. It doesn't really like change how I feel about it that much.
Yeah. Sometimes, I just get irritated. Like, it's probably just that it's those drunks where I'm just irritable, which happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't like this.
I want to sit in silence.
Sit in silence. I want to watch cool action movies. That's my shit when I'm drunk.
That's cool.
Throw on an action movie.
And then go try to recreate the shit
Then
you
go
just
to my
saw.
backyard in a shadow box. Yeah, but I'm trying to like. Probably the drunkest I've ever been at a show was Band of Horses.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was sick.
At the Mish?
Yeah, the Mish.
Nice.
That was a great time. Did I tell you that? That's a funny story of mine. Getting back from that. I worked at the Mish then. We got free tickets to the show. No big deal. It's just a flex I wanted to throw out. But I knew everyone working there.
If you were working
I
there, was it really free or did you have to do work to get
No,
the
I
tickets?
wasn't working there that night.
Oh.
I was off at the
Okay.
Band of Horses show.
Oh.
But I worked up there.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
At the time. No, you're good. So I did have that thought in the back of my mind where it was like, I work here. I can't come across as a drunken idiot. Got to stay professional at least a little bit. But I did get pretty drunk. And then we took the shuttle up there. So we were taking the shuttle on the way back. And the last person I wanted to be, just in general, but also because I worked there, was the guy who throws up on the shuttle. And I was like pretty close to. So for the entire like hour shuttle ride back in a school bus with a bunch of other drunk idiots getting tossed around in the bus, weaving through the canyon, I literally had my head against the seat the entire time and was just like focusing as hard as I possibly could on not throwing up. Like that was the mantra. I was just like, don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up for a good, hour. And then it dropped us off at the CSU bus station. So we had to take an Uber from there back home. And the whole time, I could have thrown up in the CSU bus station, but again, didn't want to be that guy. So the Uber, I was like, don't throw up, don't throw up. The Uber dropped us off in the front yard. I collapsed to my knees as soon as I get out of the car in the yard and just go, whoa, all over the yard. And it was the most glorious feeling.
That's crazy
I've
that
ever
you're able
had.
to actually hold it back for that long.
I was impressed with myself.
If you need to hold it back for that long, usually you just don't need to throw up.
I know.
But
No,
you
I actually needed to. Just sheer willpower.
Good job,
for
dude.
an hour
That's
and a half
insane.
holding back that vom.
If I think about trying to not throw up while I need to throw up, that just makes it worse.
Yeah, exactly. I have another funny Mish bus story. For listeners, Mishawaka is an amphitheater in technically Bellevue, Colorado. It's up the Prudhoe River Canyon from Fort Collins. It's about a 45-minute drive from the heart of Fort Collins to the Mishawaka. But it's up like a twisty one-lane road, well, two-lane road, but one lane going each direction.
On each side.
Yeah. Really cool venue, really unique experience. But they offer a shuttle service because parking is very limited up there, and the shuttles are just old school buses.
Hammered.
Yeah, people get hammered, and you don't want people drunk driving through the
Down the
canyon.
Yeah.
I had just met this dude through work, actually, who we bonded over a mutual liking of punk rock and ska music, and Real Big Fish and Bowling for Soup were coming to the Mishawaka, so we decided to go to it together. He immediately, upon getting to the show, I don't really know how it happened, but got drunker than I've ever seen any person get in their life. Entered the mosh pit. I went in with him. One moment we're having fun, moshing around. I lose sight of him for a second. I look back, and he's literally getting choked by a guy in the mosh pit. And it was like in The Simpsons when someone gets choked where their like tongue is sticking out and their eyes like pop out of their head. Like, that's what so I go over to like break it up or see what's happening. by the time I'm over there, he had somehow gotten free and he found me. He was like, "Do you fucking see that, dude? That was bullshit. That guy choked me out." I was like, "Yeah, that was crazy. What'd you do?"
He's like, I don't know.
He's like, "I don't know. I just like, I think I like bumped his girlfriend or something. He just started choking me." He did like other things that night, just throughout the whole night that were angering people. He was obviously being a nuisance. So I very much created some separation from him intentionally. And didn't really like, so I just kind of hung towards the back for the show. Good show. Enjoyed it. We get back on the shuttle home, and he's even drunker at that point. Definitely blacked out. He sits down next to a guy who's even more blacked out than he is, just totally passed out in the bus. And for whatever reason, this dude I'm with just starts groping this passed out guy. Like, I think at first, like, check on him, like, try to wake him up and see if he's okay. But, like, it just, like, won't stop touching him. Not necessarily inappropriately, but just always has his hands on him. Is like touching his head or his shoulder. I guess that's inappropriate. Any form of touching when it's non-consensual is inappropriate.
Yeah.
I just meant like he wasn't
unless
going
I was
for
like his homie, I guess.
No, it was not.
It was just a dude.
Enough so where a woman like close to them at the bus said like, "Hey, stop that. Like, don't touch him." And that woman wasn't with the passed out guy. That was just a total bystander. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, what are you doing? Stop." He himself blacked out shortly after that and just fell asleep. And I never saw him again after that night.
That's a great story.
Very intentionally. So really interesting night for me.
Just when you like, that's the thing with drunk people is like, just when you think it can't get messier and weirder, they find a way to make it just much weirder. Yeah. It's really not a good look for anybody.
The Mish, great venue, but of any venue, it definitely has the most incidences.
People go up there
people
to get fucked up,
too drunk,
and then the concert is like secondary to the getting fucked up. And I think a huge part of that is because of the shuttle service.
Yeah,
because people are just like, "Oh, well, I'm not driving, so I can get as fucked up as I want." And then you're like up in the mountains, and it's super pretty, and it's obviously pretty high elevation, so you're not necessarily feeling it. And then it just catches up with you, and you're blacked out on a bus with a bunch of strangers. There's no other way down the canyon, so
I don't know if they still do this, but some shuttles had coolers on them just full of free beer. Like you could just walk onto the shuttle and grab a free PBR and drink it on the shuttle right up.
Yeah,
which is awesome. That's amazing, but like it gets people in trouble.
The fuck?
What's happening on your phone now, Julian?
The dude, the bassist, just sent like a Google Maps pin to the chat that we're all in together. I'm just gonna let Benson figure that one out, I guess.
yeah. I wonder if he ever got the address.
I hope
if Will
Benson gave it to him.
Yeah, interesting.
He didn't like request our location. He just sent a random location, I think, or he just sent a link to Google Maps.
Interesting. Maybe he's just letting us know that that's a service that exists.
A link. I think it was just a mistake.
Yeah, probably a mistake.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Remove that.
I will.
I just thought, for a second I thought maybe he was actually asking for the address or something. We're here to discuss something.
Something.
What is that something, you may ask? Music.
Oh, music.
What type of music?
God, love it.
What type of music? New music.
New music.
What type of new music?
2024 music.
2024 albums that have come out so far.
Albums.
That we enjoy. Or that just maybe we don't enjoy. They're just albums that have come out this year.
I'm going to name 5 that I enjoy. All right?
Okay.
Let me just rattle these off the top. And we're doing this because the year is halfway over now, which is crazy. We've done a couple album reviews.
Yeah. A couple recaps.
Recaps, like month by month, but it's been a while. So we're just going to recap the whole first half of 2024. Here are the albums that have stood out for me in the new year that I have liked. MGMT, Loss of Life. St. Vincent, All Born Screaming. The Smile, Wall of Eyes, which I forgot was this year actually until just recently.
pretty early in the year.
Yeah. Brat, obviously. Only God Was Above Us, obviously.
Shit. Okay.
Just those are the first 5 that came to mind when we talked. Oh, Idols. There's my 6.
Okay.
And that's
Damn.
it. Those are the only ones I've liked.
I'm gonna try to list some.
Justice, Hyperdrama, 7.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
That Justice album was sweet.
I'll try to pick some albums that you didn't pick and see if I can do it without any crossover. I guess I'll mention that hasn't necessarily been my favorite by any means, but the Saviors album by Green Day came out this year. That was at least interesting
that
to
was
listen
this
to.
year, yeah.
The new Sumac album that just came out, The Healer, I have to mention that because
I liked
it's
that one.
probably going to be my album of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else? God damn, dude.
Oh, Schoolboy Q.
Blue Lips is
Lips.
incredible. Audio Vertigo, the new Elbow.
Oh yeah, great album.
Very good.
I'm trying to think of like as we've done the month by month updates, what else we've brought up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is there's only been like 1 or 2 like per.
Oh, the Willow album. That's one we've.
Yeah, the Willow album is
It's
definitely
pretty cool.
pretty good. Here, let me check my fucking Spotify.
Yeah, see what you've been listening to.
I mean,
Future Islands.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
Nor was I, but bringing up as new music.
The
that
new
I
Vince
did
Staples,
listen
pretty good.
to. Is this the worst episode we've done?
It deteriorated pretty
I
quickly.
know we came in hot.
What's because you immediately
I know,
rattled
immediately,
off all the albums that I already was thinking of, so
sorry.
now I'm trying to pivot at the last second. The new local
really
natives,
stole
but
your
I'll wait
thunder.
for you.
Yep.
I mean, shit, we got to mention the Brat, even though we've already talked about it. You said it's probably your album of the year so far.
Yeah.
So there's those two. The Healer and Brat, which are polar opposite albums, I feel like. But there's definitely a commonality between them, which is just that they're both pretty fucking chaotic and weird. And then
Was it Armed this year? No, Armed was last year.
Last year.
All right. How about we do this? Top 5 of this year so far. I've pretty much already done that, but I didn't order them. What would you rank as your top 5?
So number 5, I might have to pull up Spotify to help me with this, but number 5, I would probably put Brat. It's definitely something heavy in my rotation right now. And I don't know, it's like still exciting. Like normally if I listen to an album a bunch of times, I kind of beat it to death after a little while.
Mm-hmm.
This one I'm listening to a bunch and it's not really getting beaten down at all. Number 4, I would probably put the Elbow album Audio Vertigo. That was super heavy in roto for a while. Number 3, probably put Only God Was Above Us. It's just like a super wide array kind of like the Vampire Weekend universe, and it all feels cohesive and sounds cohesive, but also still is pretty different. Like there was a while there when it first came out when I was like, I don't necessarily see how like Mary Boone fits. I don't see how like a song like Gen X Cops necessarily fits. I really didn't like Prep School Gangsters for a long time. And like it all just makes sense to me now. Like I get that record and I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Number 2, fuck, it's hard. Don't be mad at me for saying this. So far, right now, where I'm at, my number 2 would probably be the new Suicide Boys.
I had a feeling.
I wasn't expecting it to sneak up on me as much as it is, but I am very much enjoying it. Like, it kind of falls off for me a little bit in the middle, but then it comes back for me at the end. And even though I feel dumb every time I say it out loud, like I'm 27, I should not like Suicide Boys. I'm definitely
That's fine.
pretty far above the Suicide Boys universe. Like, it's so fun to listen to, and I'm listening to it a lot, and every time I listen to it, I'm enjoying it more, and it's just better and better. So it's melodic. The production style is still the Suicide Boys sound, but it's definitely a lot more mature. It continues to get more well-produced. The lyrics continue to be more and more profound, and the flows are still changing up. And yeah, I just think it's super fun listen. And then my number one would definitely be The Healer by Sumac. I'm not going to beat the shit out of it because I've already said it enough, but like, it's just fantastic. Like, the ambient sections are way more intricate and like involved than the ambient sections have been in the past. Everything builds towards something. Everything, it feels intentional. Everything feels like it belongs within the song for a reason. The ideas are solid. The riffs are fucking huge and incredibly solid. The production is amazing. And it's what, like, Sumac is one of the only bands ever, like, I don't care who you are, it's one of the only bands ever where you can listen to an album, and every time you listen to it, it's a different experience, and every time you listen to it, you hear something that you've never heard before, or you connect pieces that you've never connected before. It's like a puzzle that continually evolves and always changes, and it's super exciting to listen to. Like,
I hugely agree with that because I've listened to it 3 times now, all while like working, like doing work at my computer, and each time I've listened to it, I've been like totally pulled out of my work by a different moment in the album. We're like, whoa, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I like where it's impossible to like focus on work and I'm just listening to the music. And yeah, I really like that album. It's very good.
Fantastic. And I said last week that the first song on it, has like my favorite drum fill that I've ever heard in it.
Yeah.
And it still is, bro. Like, every time I hear it, even though it's not that crazy of a concept or an idea for a fill, it's just like so perfect for the moment in the song. It just like makes me want to fucking I don't know. It makes me want to fucking go crazy. Like, the way that the energy compiles in that moment. That
was the first thing you showed me in the album. You fast forwarded that drum fill, and I completely missed it the first 2 times I listened to it. But actually, funny enough, the last time I listened to it, that was the moment that I was like, oh yeah, that's the fill that Julia really liked. Yeah, that is really cool.
So fucking amazing, bro. And yeah, the fact that it continues to circle back around to like the same ideas but slightly evolved just kind of like proves the fact that it's not just like gibberish thrown on tape, that it's actually all very calculated, and that one subtle thing that you hear early on in one song almost always is called back upon later. Like, they recapitulate ideas in a way that no band that I've ever listened to can recapitulate ideas. And I know that I'm going to be listening to it for the rest of the year, and every time I listen to it, there's going to be some moment where I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that before, or like I didn't put that and that together before. And like, that's why I listen to fucking music, to be honest, is just be perplexed by what I'm hearing. And that's what Sumac is. So definitely my number one.
Very solid list. I commend you.
Thank
All
you.
right, here's my top 5. I'm going to cheat a little bit because for number 5, I really can't decide between 2 albums. So I'm going to say there's a tie for my 5th spot. And that's between Schoolboy Q and Justice.
Nice.
I love both of those albums.
Dude, Blue Lips definitely is hard for me to not put on my list.
I'm a little bit surprised. And you were the one who got me into that album originally, but it's been on heavy rotation since, like, you know, it's still higher up in my in my Apple Music library. So whenever I'm looking for something to listen to, like especially at the gym or when I'm doing something active, Schoolboy Q is going on. And that Justice album is really great. A lot of great songs on it. That was a bit. They almost had like a slight Brat moment where I feel like everyone was like talking about that album for a weekend.
Yeah,
and super into it, and some good stuff came out of it.
100%.
Number 4, St. Vincent, All Born Screaming.
Damn. Okay. Cool. I didn't realize you were liking that one so much.
Yeah, I really like it. That's also been heavy in the rotation. Surprisingly, Julia doesn't like it too much, and she likes St. Vincent. And I expected her to like that one, but whenever I throw it on, she's like, "Can we listen to something else?"
I feel like it's kind of like the least St. Vincent-y record that she's put out in a way.
Julia's very sensitive to like chaotic music or like anything that's too like, just gets a little bit too insane.
Dense. It's
dense.
very dense.
Yeah, like sonically dense. Yeah, exactly. She's very sensitive to that, and there's a lot of that in
That's fair.
St. Vincent. But I'm a big fan. Number 3, The Smile. Love that album.
I'm on it. Like every time you mention an album, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised The Smile was in
probably,
here.
honestly, gonna take the Suicide Boys out and put The Smile in instead because I completely forgot about The Smile, and I definitely like that way more than I like the Suicide Boys record.
Good call, brother.
Like the Suicide Boys record, honestly, can get fucked compared to All Born Screaming and Wall of Eyes. Wall of Eyes, Wall of Eyes would be my album of the year if it wasn't for the Sumac, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's hard to do this off the dome.
It's hard to do it off the dome, bro.
We got to give each other some liberties to
It's just
revise
because I've
the
been
list.
listening to the Suicide Boys so much the last 2 weeks that it's still current.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to that Smile record since it came out, and it came out in January. So
For sure. Number 2, Only God Was Above Us, Vampire Weekend. And number 1, I think you can guess this. I think the listeners can guess this because I said it last week.
Is it Bart?
It's Bart. it's a Bart summer for me. Yeah, it's Bart by Charlie XCX.
And so just to circle back around, and not to beat a dead horse, but we did talk about this last week. I just want to see how you're feeling, touch base again. You still think it's just that upper echelon of a pop record?
Yeah.
It's the supremo pop record of the year.
It's the cream of the crop.
What keeps you listening to it at this point?
Vibes, pure vibes.
Vibes?
Yeah.
That's cool. It is a vibe.
Uh-huh.
Listening to Von Dutch while driving to work in the morning, it's like I can literally do anything
I can
today.
do anything. I am the coolest person
Yes.
alive. Yeah. It's obvious you are
I'm your
obsessed
number
with me.
one.
I'm your number one. I'm your number one. And also, outside of vibes, the production of it keeps me coming back, to a lesser extent, kind of a similar Sumac thing where every time I listen to it, I notice a different production aspect of it or something they do sonically different. I think just the sound design of the album is fantastic and really interesting. And I guess, that more than anything else, even vibes, that's probably what keeps me coming back is each listen feels exciting because I'm discovering something else.
Yeah. And there's so many different, it all feels cohesive and whatnot, but it is still kind of a wide variety of production themes. You've got your straight up pop bangers, you've got the art pop, noisy stuff, you've got the fusion-y pop, you've got everything going on.
For sure.
You've got a string breakdown on one of the songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of all over the place sonically, which makes it super exciting to listen to every time.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, great list.
And lyrically, it's a really interesting album too.
Yeah. There's
all
a lot of
aspects
lyrics.
of it.
There's a lot of lyrics that I didn't necessarily notice or even really know what they meant until we did our episode. And then now every time I listen to Sympathy is a Knife, I hear the better not catch my boyfriend or better not catch you backstage at my boyfriend's show. Yeah.
Fingers crossed behind my back.
That they break up soon or whatever. Those lyrics I kind of heard for the first time. And so I was like, damn, this album is a lot more introspective than I thought at first. Because really, the pop bangers and the superficial I'm a pop star thing really rides through the album. But there's a shitload of moments of just true insecurity where it's oh, fuck, this record is very, very human.
It's so
it makes it really cool that it is that double-edged sword. It sounds super lively and it sounds like it's just club classics, but then it's actually very deep, very personal record too, which is why I like the Mass Seduction record from St. Vincent so much. In my opinion, that record is the most personal pop record I've ever heard in my life. But then the Brat gives it a pretty solid run for its money in moments.
I've been calling anything I like So Julia. How she says, "I'm everywhere, I'm so Julia."
Yeah.
Which reference to Julia Fox, in case you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
which I know is a total misappropriation of what the lyrics are saying. I just think it's funny. It's like, man, this protein bar is so Julia. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Good recap.
Yeah, I think so. I feel pretty fucking stupid about my list now.
No, I think it was a good list. It's hard, like we said, we got to give each other some liberties. Just doing this off the dome, zero preparation.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is.
Let me go here. I'm going to go up to June really quick and then just go backwards on this list and see if there's any honorable mentions that we're forgetting about. Oh, there's a new C6 Steve record, which is fucking awesome. It's called A Trip, A Stumble, A Fall Down on Your Knees. That's a good record. The new Decemberists. Did you check that out? It's called
I didn't even know there was
It
new
Ever Was,
Decemberists.
So It Will Be Again. It's like their experimental record. Like they're getting weird with it. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
The Suicide Boys, New World Depression. Yeah, fuck, man. Honestly, a lot of not good shit. New Imagine Dragons. Oh, there's a new Hiatus Coyote called Love Heart Cheat Code. That album is very, very good. I've only listened to it twice, but what I'm hearing I like. They're definitely continuing just being super soulful and a little bit proggy, so that's cool.
Oh, here's my honorable mention. The new Guided by Voices.
Okay.
That just dropped this last Friday.
That's cool.
At the time this episode comes out a couple Fridays ago. But what's it called? Strut of Kings is the new album. And then Block Party released a single.
That's
Did you hear
cool.
the new Block Party single?
I haven't listened to it, but Spotify was like,
It's halfway decent. I don't hate
There's
it.
a new Bent Knee single that is also halfway decent.
Cool.
New No Worries.
Nice.
Let's see. New Crowded House. The new Vince Staples, Dark Times, pretty solid.
I haven't listened to it yet, but it's one I've been
It's
meaning
kind of
to
a
check
good
out.
fusion of the things that he's done over the last couple years. Like, it's still a bit more artistic and a bit more sad, but it is, like, I would say a bit more lively than Ramona Park. New Bring Me the Horizon is pretty fucking weird and all over the place. Oh, the new Shellac, To All Trains. That album is very, very good. I am a pretty big fan of that. The new Guster record, Ooh La La, is pretty good. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, is not bad. The Beth Gibbons record,
Oh, yeah.
Lives Outgrown, that record is fucking
also
incredible.
one I've been meaning to check out.
Very dense. If we're talking about albums that are going to scare Julia, that's one of them, dude. That record is another one. I listen to it, and every time there's a new layer to it. Like, it's very dense of a record, but in a good way. It's not like too much. It's not overdone. New Chief Keef is pretty all right. What else we got? Yeah, the new Willow. I guess that's like most of it that we haven't talked about, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty...
The Full of Hell record, Coagulated Bliss, that came out in April, is pretty fucking heavy and insane. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah, dude. I think that's a fucking send right there, honestly.
That's what we call a podcast episode. I hope that was a good guide for you listeners out there on new shit to listen to. Okay?
I hope someone was out
welcome.
there with a pen just writing shit down randomly and frantically as we
If
just
you're
rattled
gonna
shit
leave a
off.
review, don't do it solely off of this episode, okay? Give us a chance.
Check out at least one other episode before you decide.
Go back to the hits, like
No, I
the
think
Steely
this-
Dan episode.
I stand by this episode.
No, this was good.
I think the thing about it is we made the disclaimer that we weren't prepared.
Yeah,
We didn't do
which should
any
be every
research ahead
episode.
of time. But at the same time, like, the whole point of, well, not the whole point, but a reason why you look back at shit that's already come out this year is literally just to remind yourself. Because, like, what happened to me was I was like, oh yeah, the Suicide Boys, that's my favorite record. And then I went back through this list and reminded myself of all the other things that came out this year that I actually like more than the Suicide Boys.
Yeah.
And that's just like a good example of why you should at least try to somewhat remotely document your shit, because like I make playlists and stuff for every month because there's a month. I pretty much go through things in like a month-long phase. Like I like something for like a month, and then I kind of like move on to something else. So then I go back to all my playlists throughout the previous months, and I'm like, oh, that's what I was listening to. Like, oh, I forgot that I actually really liked that. This is like the podcast equivalent of doing that, is being like, oh yeah, the Smile record came out this year, and I actually liked that. Like, I'm gonna go listen to that now.
Yeah. No, January this year does feel like 10 years ago.
Forever
it feels
ago.
like a different life. So yeah. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. We love you deeply. Speaking of reviews, please do leave us a 5-star review if you don't mind.
Yeah,
if it's not
if
too
you would
much
be
trouble.
so obliged.
Like and subscribe. Goodbye.